The morning sun cast long shadows across Millbrook's main street as Sofia Martinez stepped out of her family's modest two-story house. The small town in rural Georgia had seen better days, but it still held the charm of a place where everyone knew everyone else's business, or thought they did. At 22, Sofia was undeniably beautiful. Her olive skin seemed to glow in the morning light, and her dark eyes held a depth that made people pause when they met her gaze. But it wasn't just her natural beauty that turned heads as she walked down Maple Street toward the town center. It was everything else. Her designer jeans hugged her figure perfectly, the kind that cost more than most people in Millbrook made in a week. A silk blouse in emerald green complemented her complexion, while gold jewelry caught the sunlight with every step. Her long dark hair was styled in loose waves that looked effortlessly perfect, though anyone who knew about such things could tell it had cost hundreds of dollars to achieve. "Morning, Sophia," called out Mrs. Henderson from her flower shop. The elderly woman's eyes traveled over Sophia's outfit with a mixture of admiration and curiosity. "Good morning, Mrs. Henderson," Sophia replied with a smile that could have graced magazine covers. "Your roses look beautiful today." As she continued down the street, similar exchanges played out with other townspeople. They all smiled, they all admired, and they all wondered the same thing. How did the daughter of a mechanic and a diner waitress afford to dress like a Hollywood starlet? Sophia's father, Miguel Martinez, owned a small auto repair shop on the outskirts of town. He was known for his honest work and fair prices, but nobody got rich fixing cars in Millbrook. Her mother, Carmen, worked the morning shift at Rosie's Diner, serving coffee and home-style breakfast to truckers and locals alike. They were good, hard-working people who had raised their daughter with love and strong values. Or so everyone thought. The truth was far more complicated. Sophia had no trust fund, no secret benefactor, no wealthy boyfriend sending her gifts. What she had was something far more dangerous: a talent for taking what wasn't hers and a growing addiction to the admiration it brought her. It had started innocently enough 3 years ago. She'd been working at the local boutique, Bella's Fashion, during her summer break from community college. The owner, Mrs. Bella Richardson, was kind but often distracted, leaving Sophia alone in the shop for hours at a time. One particularly slow afternoon, Sophia had been trying on a necklace when a customer entered. In her rush to help them, she'd forgotten to remove it. The customer had complimented her on how beautiful it looked, and for the first time in her life, Sophia had felt truly seen, truly admired for something beyond her small-town existence. She'd worn the necklace home that night, telling herself she'd return it the next day. But the compliments from neighbors, the way her reflection seemed to shimmer in the mirror, the feeling of being special, it was intoxicating. The necklace never made it back to the shop. From there, it had been a slow descent into a double life. A bracelet here, a scarf there, always from places where she wouldn't be immediately suspected. She'd expanded her hunting ground to include the larger towns within driving distance, Athens, Augusta, even Atlanta, when she could manage the trip. Sophia had become an expert at reading people, at knowing exactly what to say to distract a busy salesperson or create a moment of confusion that allowed her nimble fingers to work their magic. She developed different personalities for different situations: the wealthy college student visiting family, the young professional with a successful career in the city, the daughter of successful business owners, treating herself to something special. The more she stole, the more elaborate her lifestyle became. The more elaborate her lifestyle became, the more the people of Millbrook admired and envied her. And the more they admired her, the more she needed to steal to maintain the illusion. It was a perfect circle of deception, and Sophia lived at its center like a queen holding court. By her 3rd year of living this double life, Sophia had perfected her act. She'd studied fashion magazines until she could speak fluently about designers and trends. She'd learned about wine, art, and music from online courses, creating a cultured persona that matched her expensive wardrobe. The people of Millbrook ate it up. She was their success story, their proof that small-town kids could make it big. They didn't ask too many questions about her mysterious job in Atlanta or her frequent shopping trips to the city. They simply basked in the reflected glory of having someone so sophisticated living among them. Sophia's parents, Miguel and Carmen, were proud but puzzled. They'd raised their daughter to be honest and hardworking, and while they were thrilled by her apparent success, they couldn't quite understand how she'd achieved it. When they asked direct questions, Sophia deflected with vague answers about consulting work and social media marketing. "Mija," her father had said one evening as they sat on the front porch, "I'm proud of you, but I hope you remember where you come from. Money isn't everything." "Of course, Papa," Sophia had replied, her designer handbag sitting casually beside her lawn chair. "I'll never forget my roots." But the truth was she was already forgetting. The girl who used to help her mother serve breakfast at the diner, who would spend Saturday afternoons helping her father organize tools in his garage, was fading away. In her place was someone harder, more calculating, someone who saw every interaction as an opportunity and every person as either a mark or an audience. The transformation wasn't lost on her childhood friends. Jessica Thompson, who'd been Sophia's best friend since elementary school, had grown increasingly distant. "You've changed, Soph," Jessica had said during one of their increasingly rare coffee dates. "I feel like I don't even know you anymore." "I've grown up, Jess," Sophia had replied, fingering the stolen Tiffany bracelet on her wrist. "Maybe you should too." It was a cruel thing to say, especially to someone who'd been working 2 jobs to save money for nursing school, while Sophia flaunted wealth she'd never earned. But cruelty was becoming second nature to her. When you lived a lie as elaborate as hers, you had to be willing to sacrifice anything that threatened to expose the truth, including friendships. The breaking point came during Millbrook's annual Founders' Day celebration. The whole town turned out for the festival, which featured local vendors, live music, and a formal dinner hosted by the mayor. Sophia had attended every year since she was a child, but this year would be different. She arrived wearing a black cocktail dress that had cost more than most people's monthly rent, paired with heels that clicked authoritatively against the pavement. Her hair was swept up in an elegant chignon, and her makeup was flawless. She looked like she'd stepped off a red carpet. The reaction was everything she'd hoped for, and more. Conversation stopped as she passed. Cameras flashed as people posed for pictures with her. She was the unofficial queen of the celebration, and she loved every minute of it. But as the night wore on, Sophia noticed something that made her blood run cold. Before we continue, if you've made it this far and haven't subscribed yet, why not? We pour our heart into every video, and your one click means more than you know. Subscribe and share. It's the fuel that keeps us going. Let's continue. At the edge of the crowd, watching her with intense, knowing eyes, stood a man she'd never seen before. He was tall and lean, probably in his early 30s, with sharp features and dark hair. He was dressed well, but not flashily, in a way that suggested real money rather than the kind of showy wealth Sophia had been faking. But it wasn't his appearance that unnerved her. It was the way he looked at her, as if he could see straight through her carefully constructed facade. Throughout the evening, wherever Sophia went, she could feel his eyes on her. When she laughed with the mayor's wife about her successful consulting business, he was there, a slight smile playing on his lips. When she told the local bank president about her upcoming trip to Paris, his eyebrow raised almost imperceptibly. Finally, as the evening was winding down, he approached her. "Sophia Martinez," he said, extending his hand. His voice was smooth, cultured, with just a hint of an accent she couldn't place. "I'm Marcus Blackwood. I've been looking forward to meeting you." "Oh?" Sophia replied, accepting his handshake while her mind raced. "Are you new to Millbrook?" "Just visiting," he said, his dark eyes never leaving hers. "I'm in acquisitions. I travel around looking for interesting opportunities." Something in the way he said interesting made Sophia's skin crawl, but she maintained her composure. "What kind of acquisitions?" "The kind that aren't always advertised publicly," Marcus replied. "I have an eye for spotting things that don't quite fit their surroundings. Diamonds in the rough, you might say. Or sometimes things that appear to be diamonds, but are actually something else entirely." Sophia felt her heart skip a beat, but she forced herself to smile. "How fascinating. And what brings you to our little town?" "I heard about a young woman who's been making quite an impression. someone who's managed to achieve remarkable success at such a young age. I wanted to see for myself what all the fuss was about. The way he emphasized achieve made it clear he wasn't fooled by her act. Sophia felt trapped, like a deer caught in headlights, but she couldn't let her fear show. "Well, I hope I haven't disappointed you," she said, her voice carefully controlled. "On the contrary," Marcus replied, "you're exactly what I expected. In fact, I have a business proposition for you. Perhaps we could discuss it somewhere more private." Before Sophia could respond, he handed her a business card. It was expensive, embossed, with only his name and a phone number. "Think about it," he said. "I'll be in town for a few more days. I'm staying at the Millbrook Inn." Then he was gone, disappearing into the crowd as smoothly as he'd appeared. Sophia stood there, the business card trembling slightly in her hand, knowing that her carefully constructed world was about to come crashing down. That night, Sophia lay awake, staring at the ceiling of her childhood bedroom. The familiar surroundings, the posters from high school, the stuffed animals she'd never had the heart to throw away, the photos of friends and family, felt like artifacts from another life. Marcus Blackwood's business card sat on her nightstand, seeming to mock her in the darkness. She'd built her false life on the assumption that the people of Millbrook were too trusting, too naive to see through her deception. But Marcus wasn't from Millbrook. He was from her world, the world of deception and carefully crafted lies, and he'd seen right through her. The next morning, Sophia tried to maintain her routine. She dressed in her usual expensive clothes, applied her makeup with practiced precision, and walked into town with her head held high. But everything felt different now. The admiring glances felt hollow, the compliments sounded forced, and she couldn't shake the feeling that everyone was watching her with new eyes. She made it through breakfast at the diner, chatting with the regulars about her upcoming business trip to New York, but her heart wasn't in it. When she finally escaped to her car, she sat in the parking lot for 10 minutes, gripping the steering wheel and trying to calm her racing thoughts. Her phone buzzed, a text from an unknown number. "Beautiful day, isn't it? Perfect for making important decisions. M." Sophia's hands shook as she typed back, "What do you want?" The response came immediately. "To help you reach your full potential. Meet me at the Lake Pavilion at 3 p.m. Come alone." Miller's Lake was on the outskirts of town, a popular spot for fishing and picnics during the summer months. But in October, with the leaves turning and the weather cooling, it would be nearly deserted. It was the perfect place for a conversation that couldn't be overheard. Sophia spent the rest of the morning in a daze, going through the motions of her normal routine while her mind raced with possibilities. Maybe Marcus was bluffing. Maybe he didn't actually know anything concrete about her activities. Maybe she could convince him he was wrong. But deep down, she knew better. Men like Marcus Blackwood didn't make threats they couldn't back up. At exactly 3 p.m., Sophia pulled into the empty parking lot at Miller's Lake. Marcus was already there, sitting on a bench overlooking the water. He'd traded his formal attire for dark jeans and a black sweater, but he still looked completely out of place in the rural setting. "Sophia," he said, without turning around as she approached. "Thank you for coming." "What do you want?" she asked, trying to keep her voice steady. "Straight to the point." "I like that." Marcus turned to face her, his expression unreadable. "I want to offer you a partnership." "A partnership in what?" "In being honest about what you are." He gestured for her to sit beside him on the bench. After a moment's hesitation, she did. "You're very good at what you do, Sophia. I've been watching you for 3 days now, and I'm impressed. The way you read people, the way you adapt your story to what they want to hear, the way you've built this entire identity from nothing, it's artistry." Despite her fear, Sophia felt a perverse flutter of pride. "You don't know what you're talking about." "Don't I?" Marcus pulled out his phone and began scrolling through what appeared to be a photo gallery. "Bella's Fashion Boutique, Summer 2021. You took a sterling silver necklace valued at $350. Peachtree Mall in Atlanta, Fall 2021. Silk scarf from Nordstrom, $280. Spring 2022, 3 different boutiques in Athens. Total value approximately $1,800. Sophia felt the color drain from her face. How did you... I'm very good at research, Marcus said calmly. And you're not as careful as you think you are. Security cameras are everywhere these days, and most stores keep footage for much longer than people realize. It took me less than a week to build a comprehensive file on your activities. Are you a cop? Marcus laughed, a sound without humor. Hardly. I'm someone who appreciates talent when I see it. And you, my dear, are very talented. What do you want from me? I want to help you think bigger, Marcus said, his voice taking on an almost seductive quality. You've been playing in the minor leagues, Sophia, hitting boutiques and department stores for a few $100s at a time. With the right guidance, the right opportunities, you could be making tens of thousands. Sophia stared at him, trying to process what he was suggesting. You want me to help you steal? I want you to help yourself, Marcus corrected. I have connections, resources, information about opportunities that someone with your skills could exploit. High-end events, private parties, situations where the right person could walk away with more than you've taken in 3 years combined. And what would you get out of it? A percentage, and the satisfaction of seeing someone reach their true potential. Marcus leaned closer, his voice dropping to almost a whisper. You've been living a lie for 3 years, Sophia. But it doesn't have to be a lie. I can make it real. For a moment, Sophia felt herself wavering. The promise of legitimate wealth, of actually being the person she'd been pretending to be, was incredibly tempting. But something in Marcus's eyes, something cold and calculating, made her pull back. And if I say no? Marcus's expression didn't change, but the temperature seemed to drop several degrees. That would be unfortunate, for both of us. You see, I've invested considerable time and energy in researching you, Sophia. If you're not interested in moving forward with me, I'd have to recoup that investment somehow. Are you threatening me? I'm explaining your options, Marcus said. Option 1, you work with me and we both prosper. Option 2, I recover my costs by sharing my research with certain interested parties. Your parents, for instance, the local police, the owners of all those boutiques you've been visiting. Sophia felt trapped, like the walls were closing in around her. You're blackmailing me. I'm offering you a choice, Marcus corrected, but I need an answer soon. I'm leaving Millbrook tomorrow evening. You can come with me and start your real life, or you can stay here and face the consequences of the life you've been living. He stood up and straightened his sweater. Think about it, Sophia. But don't think too long. Some opportunities don't come twice. Then he was gone, leaving Sophia alone by the lake with the weight of an impossible decision. What decision do you think Sophia will take? Subscribe and leave your answer in the comment section, and check the description for the part 2 of this story.